Hey YouTube, it's Morgan, aka the Mountaineer. As you can tell, it's a little cold outside. I'm out here for a quick hike doing the CCC Snipe Trail. It was the first trail I hiked in here with my wife and the boys and our friend, and it's the first time I did that little very short, what became the first hiking pipe video. But it said 31. The car's thermometer said 31 whenever I got here. Snow, a little bit of snow's falling from the trees, but it is beautiful. So I'm dressed hopefully warm enough. I think I should be fine. Go up here about midway point, find a good spot, set up my chair, make some coffee, smoke my pipe, jabber for a bit, but I'm sure I'm going to be taking a lot of pictures and videos because it is just gorgeous out here. I love fall color, but snow cover to me is one of the most beautiful things in nature. And so you can see behind me, got some evergreens with some snow on it, and to me that's one of the prettiest things in nature. Anyhow, I'm gonna keep hiking. Alright guys, well, I'm sitting down. Hopefully that's not too loud, but this time I figure from here on out in the cold weather I'll just use an isobutane stove with that pot that has the fins on the bottom. It's been going for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I mean, it was within 20 seconds I'd say that it started steaming. But today I'm using this little kind of combo. I don't know, it's a hybrid between like a tea bag and a pour over, and I don't know. I've had this thing for years and have never used it. I bought it with the idea of using it for ultralight backpacking for making coffee, but then just realized that, you know, this is the lightest way to go. And so I brought a couple of these to make some coffee after this is done, but hopefully the sound isn't too bad. I've got my mic here and I have, you know, scratchy kind of stuff. This thing's dangling and probably making noise, but set that down and it is boiling. Holy crap. Oh, that bad boy's boiling. So I'll have to experiment a little bit with this. It's kind of awkward. I should have turned my stove off. I'll tell you a couple things that would be amazing. Or something that would be so helpful for this whole process is a little table. This bench is nice over here, but I can't, you know, I don't really want to put this down on it. I always get nervous adding hot water to cold pottery like that, so I'm gonna just actually going to let that submerge for a minute. Got my lighter on my handy dandy lighter leash. And then I thought if it was super cold and I had to use my gloves a lot, I'd have this, since it's like a piezo lighter. But what I'm gonna do, let's see if I can get this bad boy lit. The tops of the cardboard, I just brushed the lighter up against it a little bit. I mean, it's definitely crumbly. So, I mean, it's partially burnt. But I refilled this last night. Topped it off with about 3/4 of one of those prayer candles. Now, I did not clear out all these leaves, but it's so damp. We'll test it, see how it goes. And start this up, and it's the wind kicks up as soon as I get it lit. I think that's temporary though, but anyhow, I'm gonna try to stuff my pipe real quick. This is new to me. It's Sutliff Christmas Spice. From Smoking Pipes, and the shipping person or whatever got a little bit zealous with the tape. Okay. And in it, I have this Brian Doran pipe from 2019. I got a steal on this because it has a couple, pits in the briar. But to me, as long as it still functions, which it does, that just adds a little character. I'm not following any prescribed packing method right now. Just kind of shoving tobacco in, not doing the air pocket, not doing the 3-pinch, nothing. Just jam and go. Smells great. Tastes good on the pre-light draw, as the cigar people love to talk about. It's tasty. Both of them are tasty. I thought I better check the angle on that. I wonder if you can see that fire. Sure enough, you couldn't. I didn't see that. I heard it obviously, but you can hear it sizzling. I think it's little bits of snow falling. Hadn't thought of that possibility. Pretty tasty tobacco. And that made a pretty good cup of coffee. That last hike, where it was so windy, I wasn't going to say what kind of coffee I was going to make. I don't think I did. I think I was kind of hiding it, or not discussing it, so that next time I'd bring it out, use it, and it'd be kind of like, whoa. But I'm just going to tell you, because I don't think it's very workable. That little cheap stove, it works really well. It's just not the most stable, and it could be where it's this pot, but I might try it at home to see. But what I have is a mocha pot, and it's like that, about that tall, and with that wind I just felt like it wouldn't take anything to blow that thing over. So I thought it would, especially with an alcohol stove, which could tip and then have alcohol and fire go everywhere, I thought better safe than sorry with that. But I think this system will probably be my primary fire method for the winter, though Esbit tabs, alcohol just doesn't perform as well. Plus it's windy in winter, and just the fear of that tipping over. But the Esbit tabs might work, and I might be able to devise a wider pot stand for well, that little stove may hold that thing up. But if you recall, in the video for Khazad Dûm, when I blended that, I think the very first thing I did was kind of steam those Quintero cigars in the top portion of that mocha pot, in order to, they were a little bit dry because I had set them out for that project, didn't get around to it for a little while, and then they got drier, so I steamed them in that mocha pot. So that thing has been on my channel before, just not for making coffee. And I'm out here, I have this fleece pullover, long johns, and this wind jacket, and then of course my blaze vest. And I'm not super warm, but I do feel okay. And I still have another jacket in there. I have 2 pairs of gloves. I have this thing on and this beanie on, and actually if I took the beanie off, this would sit tighter and actually be warmer. I think this is a no hunting safety zone, but there is hunting in Kanawha State Forest, and this is still buck season. It's the second week of buck season, so a little bit of caution might seem a little bit much, but take whatever steps. You can see I have this second vest safety clipped on to the back of my pack. So I've got pretty good coverage walking down the trail. So I went up to the end of it, saw the picture of the bridge coming back this way, and I was thinking about setting up there, because that was actually where that first little really short hiking pipe video was, with the boys with me. And I had the thermos. That kind of started the precedent, and then started some of the precedent, and then that Poly trail, Poly and Wildcat in April, was really the first hiking pipe in this format, making coffee, smoking a pipe, sitting down along the trail and chatting. But this was the first trail we hiked here. And then we went, there's a forest road that you get out here, the end of the trail is at a forest road that goes that way, and then Mossy Rock Trail keeps going up that way. And we just took the forest road around, and I decided that this, this stretch would be a good spot, and it was just so beautiful down here. Plus, there are a couple places along the creek that I want to take some video clips of the creek flowing. So I decided to just come back this way and not do the forest road this time. I can feel the heat off that thing. If it's still, I can really feel it. It's blowing a little bit toward me now, and I can feel it. Before, it was kind of going that way and I wasn't feeling anything from it. Deer season was fun. I didn't get anything, but again, I go out there and kind of think, I don't keep the meat because of my fear of chronic wasting disease. That's right. We're basically bordering the containment area, and that stuff is nasty. They say that humans may or may not get it. There's no evidence that they can, but I'm just like, just don't mess around with it. And it's like, it's not anything living. It's a prion or prion, and if you cut meat with a knife, you can put that knife, clean the knife off, sterilize it, put it away for 5 years, and that prion is still there. It's not a living thing. And then you can cut something else and it can transfer over to that. So it's just frightening stuff. So I just give the meat away and keep the antlers whenever I get a deer. And so this year I said, either, unless it's a massive, beautiful 6-point or a very nice 8-point or bigger, which they really generally don't get bigger than an 8-point up there. I wasn't going to mess with it, but Monday I had a spike and a 5-point, a really nice 5-point actually. And they were hanging out with each other. And I don't know, I think I watched them they were around me for about an hour or so. I could have shot either of them at any time. At one point, they were about 38 yards away. And I hunted Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday morning. So 2.5 days. Tuesday, can't remember if it was morning or afternoon. It might have been morning. I actually saw some bucks lock up with antlers, and I've never seen that before. It was so cool. It wasn't like a vicious fight or anything, and they weren't that big, but I don't think I got it on video. But that was neat. And I saw a buck Wednesday. I saw bucks. I saw more bucks that week than I've ever seen hunting up there. And a lot of deer, a lot of doe. I wasn't seeing them the whole day, but or anywhere near the whole day. But there's some years when I've had years when I've seen about 2 deer in 3.5 days of hunting. When I was a kid, I couldn't hunt until Wednesday, so I'd hunt Wednesday and Thursday, and then we'd go in for Thanksgiving dinner, and then Dad, Granddad, and I would head back up Thursday night. It always seemed to be foggy on Thursday night, so it was always, I don't know what it was, but it was always an adventure getting back to the farm. And hunt Friday. Most of the time we'd be the only ones up there Friday. But I shot a lot of stuff. I'm going to see if I can patch together a decent video. Yesterday afternoon, a couple weeks ago, I made a clay extruder out of a caulk gun, 1.5 inch PVC and a cap. And so yesterday, on Black Friday, Dad and I went up to Cumberland to get dinner and get some cheap poinsettias from Lowe's. And I got test caps or test plugs that fit inside. It's kind of like I can't think of what the heck the name of those old straw hats are, but like, barbershop quartet. But fits in there, and I made various shapes in the ends of those. And they also had miter saw blades on sale there. I have a chop saw, I don't have a miter saw, but they had Black Friday deals on that. So I got a pair of miter saw blades and put the fine tooth one on my chop saw, and man, it cut through that PVC like butter. And so I just figured out what length I needed, and then cut the first one, and then use that to mark on down the pipe. But basically, you put that in the caulk gun with a roll of clay in there. You wedge the clay to get it consistent and get the air bubbles out and stuff. Roll it up, put it in there, and then put that in. And then as you squeeze the gun, the clay comes out in whatever shape. So the big thing for that, the big use for that is handles. Making consistent handles, and it makes it a whole lot quicker and easier to make them. Excuse me. So I'm excited to keep experimenting with that, where the tip of the caulk tube sits down in there. It's kind of a U shape, a widened U shape. And one of them that I made, and it could be more, it was a little bit too long all around to totally clear that end of it. So I'm going to have to take a Dremel and kind of relieve that a bit. I don't think it'll impact the strength. But it's kind of neat, and I was worried I might need to glue the ends there. If the pipe would somehow push back, then the clay would just go outward instead of through the hole. But I think those caps were something like 80 cents or $1 each. So I can use that and make any number of dies. Getting a little chilly now. I always think about what I can do to improve my gear and stuff. This is just a total experiment. And I think a pair of like workout pants, like nylon, wind resistant, water resistant workout pants would be really good. These are just my normal hiking shoes with a thick, it's not wool, but they remind you of wool socks, and they're actually like knee highs. But it's warm, but I've been able to keep my feet relatively dry, and I think I may end up getting some like neoprene socks or something like that, or really, I could really just use a plastic bag in the meantime, plastic bags over my socks. And that would probably be an okay substitute for the time being. Maybe get like a contractor bag and cut the corners out. I'll tell you what, I'm like a kid in a candy shop. I mean, this is just magical right now. As I mentioned when I was walking in, I think that snow is, one of God's gifts to us. I mean, I just think it's so beautiful. And unfortunately, as you can see, a lot of it's fallen down. But sitting here watching it coming off the trees and watching it look like it's almost snowing again, that's beautiful too. But half the trail I was walking up with a dumb grin on my face. I just love it. through. I think the enamel on that tin is actually starting to burn. I don't think I've ever let it go this long. I don't think that was charred like that before. A little bit of silt in the bottom of that. I went ahead and ground up the coffee last night. Well, I'll tell you what, since I finished the first cup, I think it's time for a second cup. Gonna have to watch my cord here. It's pretty consistently been, dropping snow here and there, but it hasn't been constant. But every time I've stood up from this chair, snow blows down and gets on the seat. This fire is so cool to watch. Obviously, I'll keep experimenting with refilling it with the same cardboard. I'm thinking I might, or I need to make the bigger one. I don't even know where the lid got to. I have a feeling it might have been carried off by a small child. But make that one. But I've been kind of watching it, how big the flames get, how far they lick out, and I think I can move it about another 8 inches or so closer to me while, be warmer and still maintain a safety margin there in case a gust decides to lick the flames over toward me. I really like, this tobacco is very good. I love this pipe, especially since I got it for a deal. Whenever Brian makes a pipe and it has some kind of flaws like that, he puts them up for a lot cheaper, and I always try to snatch them up because it's always going to smoke well. And like I say, I think just these things add a lot of character to the pipe. Let it mix when I pour it. I'll tell you what, for this being public ground and hunting in the buck season, I have not heard a single shot. Starting to get a little cold now. I think just from sitting here still. Mostly my hands. Just chilly, not super cold, but this has been awesome. If it's right around freezing, I think this is totally doable, all winter long. I didn't even put that other jacket on, and I could get, like I say, I want to get those kind of exercise nylon pants for wind pants, and I think just those would probably take me pretty probably keep me comfortable in this kind of conditions down to about 20 degrees with very, just windy every once in a while. Now with consistent wind, I think it would take a good bit more, with the pants and the extra jacket. I think around freezing with consistent stiff wind probably would be about it. I guess with this setup, I didn't need my later leash where I kind of have this as a little table. Well, one thing I haven't mentioned in this whole video, this is the first snow. I still, there a couple weeks ago, I think I did get that little bit of sleet a couple times, but first snow down here. Though I did see up in the higher elevations on my way to deer hunt, I saw some patches of snow that hadn't melted off yet in Tucker County. But we had like I say, pretty good deer season. It was different, but good. And Thanksgiving was good. My home county is a hot spot right now for the Rona, but my sister and her family came in. Shane and the boys came up, and so we had the whole family there, kind of spread out in Aunt Pat's house. Granddad, he's bedridden, so a bunch of people in the living room, bunch of people in the kitchen. But it was a good time. And I hope everyone else out there had a great Thanksgiving. Well, I still need to shoot my giveaway update video, and I need this thing to cool down. So after I say goodbye, I'm gonna put the lid on that, shoot the quick Christmas video, and hopefully that'll cool down. I've been rambling on way too long, so guys, thanks for tuning in.